Hello, hi, welcome back to my course on enhancing soft skills and personality. This is the 8th and the last week of the course. This is the first unit of the 8th week, and totally this is lesson number 36. We just have 4 more lessons to go to complete this course. Now, this is the concluding week, and I thought it is appropriate to introduce ethics and etiquette, which are quite relevant to you in terms of your social role as a responsible human being in this society. So far when we talked about soft skills and enhancing your personality, I generally talked in terms of your individual self. So now let's look at the collective responsibility, how people assess you in terms of your role in this society, in this universe. Okay, so this is the general thing I have in mind, but I want to start with giving you something in terms of values. So that's why I started with this ethics and etiquette. Now we understood in the last lesson, just to take a quick highlights, we understood that love is a kind of point of self-realization where an individual realizes one's capacity to be selfless, egoless and love someone more than oneself. Love as a positive force can change a person with fixed mindset to growth mindset. It is constructive in facilitating individual growth. So, and then in the last lesson we just went to analyze the essential characteristics of love. So, we identified that love never fails people. It's the people who rather fail love owing to miscommunication or poor communication or soft skills. So, for any emotional transaction, one has to choose the best psychological moment. This has been discussed in detail in the lessons on communication. However, it's just to recall to you that you have to choose the best psychological moment, and despite many positive qualities in a person, one can face rejection due to wrong timing. So, it's important to take note of open body gestures such as very open eye contact, direct eye contact, open palm gestures, very genuine warm smile, and then mirroring gestures, putting the feet in front, slightly leaned posture. So, these are all indicating that the opponent, the person who is sitting in front of you, is actually sort of interested in you. So, taking cues from body language and then making use of the right time, so will help one to even make any emotional negotiation successfully. Now, besides allowing a relationship to grow and mature on its own, makes any overt confirmations of love redundant. So, what do I mean by this? If you are able to let a relationship grow on its own, so then there is no need to make proclamations of love or declare love and all that. Mature relationships undergo various phases, from the first stage of meeting as strangers, then developing friendship, to reaching conflicts, misunderstandings, resolving conflicts, misunderstandings, and then building a high level of trust beyond any temporary conflict, developing deep friendship, giving breathing space to each other, facilitating individual growth, working better as a team. And once you reach this level where you start working better as a team, and then once you feel that you can be independent as well as interdependent, and certain normal ways of expressing love in those words, so they become redundant and it becomes more in terms of deed and not in terms of words. However, I also gave some suggestions, tips for overcoming rejection, if any. So, during any rejection, instead of blaming others, by introspecting and identifying one's own limitations, and by letting oneself overcome those limitations, one prepares oneself for a better relationship in future. So, I quoted a lot of interesting proverbs and dictums. One is, the best is yet to be. So you are deprived of something because you are supposed to wait for the best by better preparing yourself. And then the famous quote from Dalai Lama that not getting what you want sometimes happens to be a wonderful stroke of luck. Although at that point you think that it's something that you really missed and then you regret over it, but in the long run you realize that that was for the better, and then you got something much better than you would so much wanted to have it at that point of time. Okay. So bouncing back with renewed energy, even if you're rejected, laughing more, loving better, and living a wonderful life is the best way to deal with rejection. And then I concluded by talking about how you should separate any kind of emotional entanglements in business area. That is, when you are a professional, you have to be a professional. So that is what is expected in terms of your soft skills and personality. So there you cannot do something out of vested interest because your love interest is sitting there, or your wife is sitting there, or somebody whom you are interested is sitting there, so you want to manipulate things. So these are unbecoming of you in terms of your highly integrated personality. So wise professionals keep their love interest out of work environment and focus on work at hand first, and then give full time for love outside the business area. So they never mix business with love. They learn how to separate that. And then to the doubt that okay, love never waits, and then love keeps checking, the girl keeps checking whether I am in the office and all that. So that, based on the definitions that we have been discussing about love, would not be considered real love. Real love is patient, it will wait, it will understand, it will know that you are using your work to progress and grow in your life, and which will help both of you as a team. And then the basic definition that I said, that anything that tries to destroy you cannot be considered genuine love. Anything that is constructing you, creating you, making a better you is the best way of understanding real love. So with that we ended up our discussion on love and managing love. Now in this unit, so let us look at ethics and etiquette, and we start with why it is important. If you remember your childhood days, you must have heard of this old proverb that goes like this: when wealth is lost, nothing is lost; when health is lost, something is lost; when character is lost, everything is lost. So we read about money, the importance of money, but we also understood that money is not everything. And we also understood at the end of it that there are so many things in life which you cannot buy just by giving money. And sometimes even the wealthiest people die of profound grief because they didn't accumulate things beyond money. Okay. So when wealth is lost, nothing is lost, because you can always rebuild, you can always get back the wealth that is lost, provided you have that determination and will. But when health is lost, something is lost, because you cannot recover. So in a real sense, we actually grow and then decline. So if you use some of your vital energy, okay, exhaust it, and then you become ill. So sometimes it's very difficult to go back to the healthy state. So you lose something, something is lost. But when character is lost, everything is lost. So character speaks for your personality, whatever soft skills that you might have developed. And if you lose your character, then whatever you might have built in terms of your empire, built in wealth, okay, so everything will be lost. Character is something that gives one the real personality, and which is a combination of values, ethics and etiquette. Now values are principles or standards of behavior. Okay, so these are the guiding principles. Values are setting the standard. And how do you know? They are often manifested in one's judgment of what is important in life and the way one deals with people and how one prioritizes commitments and responsibilities. So, for example, somebody who values family, okay, so much may slightly become negligent about work. Okay, so what is somebody valuing so much is often shown in the way one it is trying to prioritize, and the judgment one is making as what is important in one's life. There's another interesting definition from businessdictionary.com. So it goes like this: important and lasting beliefs. So important and lasting beliefs or ideals shared by the members of a culture about what is good or bad and desirable or undesirable. Values have major influence on a person's behavior and attitude and serve as broad guidelines in all situations. So the way one actually behaves, the way one actually performs oneself in public places, so one's basic ethics and etiquette, mannerisms, personality, so they are all depending on the values the person has imbibed, nurtured, developed from childhood itself. Okay. Let's look at more definitions. For instance, people with good business values uphold fairness and they respect customers. They will never cheat customers because they will uphold fairness as a very principal virtue. So even if a customer gives more money, they will return the money. Even if a customer loses something or a customer is at a disadvantage, they will compensate. They will respect the customers, they will value the customers. But those who do not have good business values, so they will indulge in lot of hook and crook methods to cheat the customers, manipulate the customers, and their only aim is to make money, is not to maintain the customers. So as I said, a person who values family may sometimes become negligent of duty. So he spends more time at home, more time for children, and then he doesn't care about his boss even if he shouts at him. Okay, and it doesn't affect him at all because he feels I play with my children and that is more important. So here you may ask, is it not right to do that? So this is where you need to know more about the moral values or ethics. It's nice that you value something more than something else, but it is your ethics that will tell you at what level, how you should manage, and then you should know whether giving excessive value to something is right or wrong. So that's why you need to know the moral values or ethics and understand the manner, that's etiquette, in which one should conduct oneself at individual and social levels. So etiquette or norms or rules governing socially acceptable behavior. So if a boy is staring at a girl in a public place, so immediately somebody even next to the girl may go and shout at the boy and say that why are you staring at her. So this is like public norm. Okay, it's a governing social norm. It says that you have no right to stare at her like that. Okay, this is a simple one I am giving. We look at more examples later. And similarly, ethics or moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. Why you are behaving, why you are deciding, why you are judging on something than something else, and why this appears to be good and that is bad. So that will indicate your moral principles or ethics. Ethics indicates one's beliefs and ideas of what is right and wrong. So a person who is highly ethical, you can never expect to go wrong or make wrong decisions. Business Dictionary offers a comprehensive definition of ethics. Let us look at that. It says, the basic concepts and fundamental principles of decent human conduct. So ethics is nothing but decent human conduct. It includes study of universal values. Okay, what is applicable not only to one part of the country, one place, but universal values. such as the essential quality of all men and women, human or natural rights such as human rights, okay, natural rights, obedience to the law of land, concern for health and safety, and increasingly also for the natural environment. So, it is not only for you but also for the people around you, not only for the people around you but also for their health and safety, and also for the environment that you are living in. So, this gives a very comprehensive definition of ethics. So, I will come to your role in terms of protecting the natural environment in one of the later lessons, but at this moment it is important to know that okay, ethics does not mean only something related to man and another man between human beings, but is also related to the environment that is surrounding us. You should also be familiar with the term professional ethics. So, one is expected to act, behave, judge, function according to the professional ethics that is demanded from the person. So, in reference.com there is an interesting definition of professional ethics. It says that it's a term that encompasses the organizational and personal standards of behavior a professional individual is expected to possess. So, what does it mean? It encompasses, it covers the organizational and personal standards. What the corporate, the company, the organization is giving you, as well as your personal standards of behavior with regard to a professional individual. So, at home you can be somebody, but when you are in office, how are you supposed to behave? When you are a doctor, when you are a lawyer, when you are a teacher, when you are a banker, so how are you supposed to behave? So, we heard of cases like doctors not behaving properly, bank managers not behaving properly. If you look at all these things, like what people say that they are not behaving properly is actually amounting to their violating some of the norms of the professional ethics. So, most organizations have their own internal code of practice that defines the professional ethics of a certain profession. For example, if you are related to anything to do with medical or law, so there are set codes, there are internal codes which clearly says you have to do this, you cannot do certain things, okay, and then they are supposed to follow this. But having said this, I should also say that in terms of professional ethics, although there are clear-cut operative norms of professional ethics associated with various occupations, it is difficult to do away with the moral responsibilities which arise out of individual values and social expectations. That is, there are clear-cut norms written. A doctor is supposed to do this, a lawyer is supposed to do this, a teacher is supposed to do this. And it's the way they have joint duty, there are manuals, books which tell them how they should operate. But it's very difficult to separate the social expectations and the moral responsibilities which arise out of individual values. So, for example, let's imagine situation, a person goes to a grocery shop and then asks for some loan for buying the products. Okay, he says that money is not there in the bank and he has to wait till the salary comes, and the grocery shop owner says, no, my policy is not to give loan, I cannot give you loan. So, people around there, so they do not say anything, so they know that okay, if he has this policy of not lending, so that is fine. Okay. And then this person goes to somebody else who may give it or not give it, but overall when this grocery shop fellow is not giving, people do not mind it that much. But imagine another situation, this one small boy You must have seen in many movies coming, and then doctor is standing in the balcony and he is saying that mother is dying and doctor should come home and see her, and then the doctor says that no, you have to give me money, you will not be able to give me this fees and all that. Now if the public sees this, the public gets enraged, the public is sometimes even infuriated. Although the doctor is rightful in demanding his fees, but the public expects some kind of moral responsibility in this case and thinks that no, the doctor cannot say no, because it's more to do with human values, and it's at the time of saving a life, he cannot negotiate with this. People will not think. So the doctor has spent so much money in reaching this level, and then he has to do his business and then get something, but they'll expect no, even if you don't get money, you have to treat a case, especially in emergency and if it is a life or death situation. So people will be willing to give contingency to a business person who is not giving money, but for a doctor who expects money, especially at the time of life or death situation, people will be unmerciful. So that situation you can see, and same thing in terms of teaching profession. So suppose you say that in the school hours you have to ask doubts. Now suppose the student meets the teacher outside the school hours, outside the school premises, and just sees the teacher on the road, and a doubt has been there in the mind, and tomorrow there is this exam, there is no way to meet the teacher in the class tomorrow. The student immediately asks the doubt, and if the teacher snubs the student, says that who asked you to ask this doubt here, so you should have cleared it in the class itself, or go back to your book, read again, you will understand. Now these things again the public will not tolerate. So there is a moral responsibility associated with these jobs. And whatever job that you are there is this in-house norms which you are supposed to follow, which tells you what is professional ethics, but at the same time the society is expecting that you should yield to the moral responsibilities which are expected from you. So together they make you a really integrated person in terms of professional ethics. Now to continue with this thought on ethics, etiquette and personality, a person with high ethical values and good etiquette will be able to create an everlasting impression on the people he or she comes across. So the moment they see, they discuss, they interact, they will know that oh, this person has very high ethical values, and they will have respect for the person automatically. Certain things like that are associated with these people, such as being friendly, helpful, charming, dignified, decent, affectionate and lovable, are qualities one should possess to build one's personality. Although some children develop these traits from school itself, there is no age bar to developing them. So if you are at the age of 50, 60 watching this video and you want to make a change, there is nothing that is preventing you to change it. And even if you are, let's say 18, 20 who is watching it, it's high time that you can easily change, and then you can behave in a very highly ethical manner. People often say that they behave in an unethical manner because of the surroundings. So they will say that everybody around me is corrupt, so why should I be honest? So all are unethical, so I will also be unethical. See, for a person with high ethical values, this is no excuse. This cannot be used as an excuse. So people will say, when they will go to Singapore, they will say the country is very neat and clean, so they will not spit on the road, and they will say that spitting will actually make them give huge amount of fine, so they will not do that. But they will not hesitate to do so in India, because in many places still fine is not strictly imposed. Okay, so they will say that they are taking it seriously, here they don't take it seriously. But we need to look at the fact that society is actually made of individuals, and the change has to emanate from the individuals. So if individuals change, automatically society will change. And then normally people think that Oh, circumstance is making somebody behave like that. Surroundings are responsible for the person to behave like that. It's a wrong way of thinking. Circumstance never makes a man, it reveals a man. So, if you are in a garbage area and behaving like garbage, it's showing what is inside you. Okay. And then, even in that surroundings that is full of garbage, if you behave in a very neat and tidy manner, it's not reflecting the surrounding, it is showing what is in you, what is inside you, and that is coming out. So, if you have your thoughts pure, if you have high ethics, if your etiquette and personal behavior are really good, then nothing in the surrounding will affect you. Let's take some examples of poor etiquette and people who have low sense of ethics and how do they behave. Things like spitting on public wall. Okay, they won't do that at their own wall in their houses, but they won't mind doing it on public walls, public places, or near staircase, and then even there are designated spaces, places for spitting, they don't do that. Smoking in public places. So, especially in a country like India, it is said that the passive smokers, they get cancer as much as the active smokers. So, passive smokers are the ones who just stand, often the spouses of husbands, okay, friends of some smokers, and then workers who are with boss keeps smoking and then sending the smoke before the people. Now that actually affects. And then smoking in public places, one has no right to just make everybody passive smokers and give them ill health just because of one's bad habit. Causing disturbance when one is expected to be silent, especially in theaters. So, whether it especially in plays, dramas, or some dance performance, okay, one is expected to keep pin drop silence. Suddenly mobile is not kept in silent mode, it rings, or suddenly somebody talks to someone, and then biting nails before others, picking nose or teeth in public, making noise while eating or drinking, especially before others, especially while eating in group, talking aloud on mobile phones in public places, okay, in buses, in transport areas, and then everybody hears what you are talking, and then you have no right to disturb others. Violating traffic norms, often overtaking from left when you are supposed to overtake from right. Crossing without using the zebra crossing, just dotting across the road without even using this zebra crossing. These are very bad habits, poor etiquette. Occupying seats meant for women, ladies, elderly people, or other able people on public places or transports, and ironically, not getting up when these people come, and sometimes even refusing to get up or quarreling with them, saying that the person occupied the seat first and won't get up. Speaking in regional language or languages known only to 2-3 people when you are in a big group. Okay, let's say 10 people are there, and then suddenly you speak in a language which 8 people don't understand. So that again indicates very poor etiquette. Gossiping and spreading rumors, so it's poor mannerism. Making fun of others, disturbing someone who is busy. So you have no right to disturb somebody who is really busy, or meeting someone without seeking an appointment, just barging into somebody's room and then disturbing the person, and then just pouring out your problems, and then making the person just focus on your work, and then completely distracting the person from his or her work. Asking rude and probing questions to known people, even to strangers. While sitting next to somebody, you keep asking, where did you buy this? What is the price of this jacket? Where did you buy that one? Okay, why are you eating this? Why are you carrying this? So these are all like very impolite and poor behavior. commenting, criticizing without being asked for. So you can say good things about somebody, but then openly criticizing somebody's behavior even when the person has not asked you to criticize, saying that, oh, that bag looks awful, I will never carry that kind of bag. No, obviously you are not carrying it, and the person who is carrying is thinking that it's actually good. Now, why are you criticizing the other person, and what right you have to criticize? So you have no right. And then in terms of parents, feeling proud of misbehaving children in public. Children are behaving like monkeys in hotels, monkeys in public places, and then the parents feel so proud. Okay, sometimes very important VIPs sitting in the front rows. So these kids just go and then sit on their lap, and these people give very suppressed, repressed smile because they feel very embarrassed, and the parents feeling proud. Oh, my children have no fear talking to these people and all that. So not controlling unruly children in public and letting them disturb is also coming under poor mannerism. Using foul language in public, so using four-lettered word, abusing people. And then in terms of telephone, we already discussed about telephone, email, okay, and we talked about etiquette and all that. You should go back to those lessons, but generally there are a lot of things you need to improve in terms of using phone. The simple thing like calling first and asking somebody who is speaking. Okay, so you called, so you should tell first, I'm so and so, I want to talk to so and so, or am I talking to this person, instead of you asking, tell me who you are. So very rude and impolite. Similarly, it's rude to be immersed in social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, and completely your face is buried in that social media on mobile, while in party or sitting before others. So 6 people are sitting before you and then expecting you to say something, but your face is completely buried on the mobile. You never look up to anyone and talk to them, and all the time you are busy with this one. So that is really rude. When you go for a party, when you have to talk to people, you have to talk. You have to even switch off your mobile and keep it in your pocket. And taking pictures without the knowledge, using camera, separate camera or mobile, or even without the permission of others, and posting those pictures without others' permission. And in case of like Facebook and other media, tagging them without their permission. So that is also not good behavior. Going late to meeting, to office, to school, and not feeling sorry or never apologizing, thinking that it's your right to go late. So these are again coming under poor etiquette. And last but not the least, not saying thanks. So even any small thing, if somebody is doing it to you, you should be able to show your gratitude in terms of saying thanks, in terms of expressing your appreciation. So if you don't do that, it's also part of poor etiquette. So keep these things in mind and try to improve your etiquette. Understand the professional ethics that depending on your business you try to emulate, and then always have your moral responsibility realized, and then perform, conduct yourself in a very dignified and decent manner, that you are likable, you are lovable, and everybody feels that you are the person that they feel like having you, either in a personal or in a professional environment. Let's take a quick look at an interesting quote on true values. It's from Ellen D. Johnrus. He says, here are the values that I stand for: honesty, equality, kindness, compassion, treating people the way you want to be treated, and helping those in need. To me, those are traditional values. And mind you, usually what we call as traditional values or old values are the ones today we revive in terms of professional ethics, and then we expect that people have these values even when they are working in highly ultra modern society. And societies change, technologies change people, but then still people with these kind of traditional values are highly respected and they always are admired by people around. So with this lesson I also want you to become such people whom everybody looks up to in terms of values, ethics, professional ethics and good etiquette. So wish you all the best to become such a personality, and thank you so much for watching this video.